Right, it's about 22 minutes down the hour of 9. We're sorry. We're starting a little behind time. Yes, it's the Citizens Forum on Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM here in the city of Abeokuta. Yes, Citizens Forum this morning, Tuesday, the 3rd day of October 2017. That means the day in which Nigeria is 57 and 2 days old in terms of its independence. Yes, and it will be appropriate to also continue to look at those areas where we had moved, where we had made progress, and of course, naturally, where the shortfalls are and how to probably fix it. Education is believed to be the bedrock of growth of any society, and it's a common saying that if you educate particularly the women, you are educating the nation. I think it's frustrating when you hear the National Bureau of Statistics tell us that we have about 67 million Nigerians who are uneducated out of the official 180 million of us. That's disappointing and painful to hear 67 million. Well, is government making efforts to address this? Are they doing something concrete, visible, tangible to ensure that they redirect our education sector? The policies preferred by government, are they solving these issues? And above all, the education itself, has it transformed into growth and wealth for the country? This is what we will be looking at, the education sector as Nigeria progresses as an independent nation. Dele Ayodo is my name.
And I am Chienye Egwuonwu. Good morning and welcome to Citizens Forum. And then the index of measuring a country's achievements in Nigeria as it celebrates 57 years is education. And education by all precepts is a yardstick through which the indices of development of a country lies. And when we have a shortfall in this very sector, it affects every other sector. And we have countries like Finland, we have South Africa, and we also have Ghana, which have robust and well-funded education industry, and which has become education heaven for thousands of Nigerian youths. We can say education sector is abysmally low in Nigeria. At 57, we expect that Nigeria makes her education a priority, prosperous, and triumph over limitations. So that's what we have for you on the Citizens Forum for today. We will be reviewing the country's education sector since independence.
So I think I should also add that apart from giving Nigerians full education, yes, a lot of people will also believe and have said what we have right now is half education or unbaked education, which is worse than not being educated at all. We have a guest here in the house. He is a lawyer, he's a member of the Ogun State House of Assembly, and of course he is the chairman of the Assembly Education Committee. You are welcome, Honourable Dotun Fasanya. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me ask this question. It will be out, not complete out of what we are discussing. If you were not educated, if you didn't go to school, would you have been annoyed with your parents or guide out those who were supposed to do that for you?
Well, it would have been a regret, a matter of regret. I might not have been annoyed with my parents, but at the same time, I would have been regretted that I didn't go to school. And I would have put effort to ensure that my own children will have the best education money can offer.
Okay, so you still see education as important and
Very,
essential.
very important in any nation building. Very, very important.
Okay, quickly, could you take us back? Let's take a brief analysis of how the education sector had evolved in the last 57 years.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll just do a brief, history of the Nigerian educational system. Nigerian educational system has had a checkered history. It has gone up, it has come down. Sometimes it has remained stable. And by and large, formal education in Nigeria started in the 18th century with the establishment of the first primary school in Badagry. I think that was around 1842, thereabout. Then, but this first secondary school was not established until around 1848 or 1850 something, between late 40s and the early 50s, and that cumulated to when we had the first secondary school, CMS Grammar School, which came in 1859. So, and so on and so forth. But the most important thing at this time, the most important factor at this time was that education was in the hand of missionaries, the likes of the Wesley, the like of the Catholic, and so on and so forth. Little did the British system offered for education at that time, probably because they thought that if Nigerians were educated and would be able to rise up early enough to fight against colonization and fight for independence. Probably that was why the British government stayed aloof educational system at that time. But by and large, the missionaries did a very good job for our educational system. Not until around the 1870s that the British government started funding the missionaries to provide qualitative education for Nigerians, and also established their own schools at that time. And I also remember that so many ordinances came to be at that time, moving from one system to the other, from straight jacket Western education to education with the Nigerian orientation. What we needed at that time, tailored towards agriculture, tailored towards acquisition of skills, and so on and so forth. So by 1948, the nucleus of what we refer to as University of Ibadan today came to be, and that was University College Ibadan. So that was the first university. That was after the Yaba College of Technology was established, I think in 1942. So that was how education grew during the colonial regime. But post-independence, that was 1960 to date. You're talking about the 57
Yeah, let's
years.
look at post-independence.
The way I would take it is, tailor it towards the national development plans, because there's never been any national development plan that did not have education as one of its major major focus. And for example, in the after independence, 1960, I think the first one was 1962 to 1970. At that time, the commission that was established to look into education at that time came up with the kind of education that would provide skillful workers for our budding industry at that time, because at that time there were no we did not have enough skillful workers that could take over from the expatriates that manned so many industries and commerce in Nigeria at that time. So it was tailored towards making experts in some areas, in some professional areas, and that was what the Yaba College of Technology was established for initially, to move Nigerians to produce skilled workers to man the commerce and industry in Nigeria. Then the system was not really affected, because apart from the modern school, introduction of modern school, which was a pre-vocational kind of school, the like of the JSS system that we have today. And before you can go to the secondary school, you must have a stopover somewhere. We want to see if you can progress to secondary school, or you want to go to a vocational school. So a lot of vocational schools were established at that time too. And that time too, we started talking about the system of comprehensive secondary school and so on and so forth, which means if you are into a particular field, maybe commerce, maybe science, we take you right from the beginning to the end, or you specialize in some.
For this, let's just repeat ourselves from that 1960 downward. I'm glad you talked about the involvement of the missionary in our education, pre-independence and post-independence. In fact, until the 1990s, they still held sway in controlling education. Today, almost all the states have issues with education, and then the powers of these missionary schools have been watered as a result of the takeover that happened here and there. And of course, in some states, the argument and legal battle for the changeover is still on. We say that was a policy misdirection or a mistake in one term from those governments who interfered by stopping the missionaries.
Well, I wouldn't say it was a bad policy, because at a particular time we have particular needs which may not arise in future. At that time, like I said, that the British government did not join education system. It was only missionaries that funded education until late 1870s, that the missionaries now started funding the British government started funding missionaries. Probably it got to a stage that we needed more enrollment in schools. For example, the development plan of 1975 to 1980, one of the policy thrusts of that development plan was that enrollment must double. Enrollment in our schools must double. And that meant that schools must be established. So many schools must be established. Probably government at that time had thought that the missionary schools were not well managed. The missionary schools maybe disparaged against people who are not of a particular religion that set up the school. And because of that, the government decided to take it over. I wouldn't know the main reason why, but I know it was towards efficiency of the educational system, as required at that particular time. So I would not say it was a wrong policy, but with agitation and when government itself found it difficult to fund education very well, the government, we are talking about private-public partnership. These people are agitating to take over their schools. Well, why not? So I believe that was what prompted the return of schools to missionaries by some states at that time.
The coming in of private entrepreneurs or private businesses into the education system, let me have your assessment of it. Has it done us good? Because I know that the first day I got into any wall of a school was straight to start a primary school. I'm not sure, I've not bothered myself to check whether there are private schools there in 1968. I have not bothered, but I know that if there were, you can count them, and not many people. But today, as a result of government policies or misdirections, we have them in at all strata, and people have pointed out that because of these policies of government, that's why we have these private schools springing up, and they're not doing any good because they're not being controlled. Is this what you also subscribe to?
Well, no, I differ slightly. Private school has always been I've always been existing, right from day one of education, history of education in Nigeria. Like I said, missionaries.
No, I'm talking about I'm looking at all sector now. Private school is not just. I'm not talking about universities.
I know. I'm just driving at a particular point. Missionaries that established schools at that time, those schools were not owned by the government. They were private schools. And they remained private schools until they were taken over by the government. That was the point. So it means private school has always been. And I wouldn't know about the 60s you talked about.
That's why I used the entrepreneurs,
but the 70s that I knew of, they were in this Abeokuta. There were a lot of private schools during my own time. I know so many that I can even mention now that still exist even up to today. They were private schools, but there was sanity.
And was it affordable?
Yeah, it was affordable for people who could afford it. My own parents could not afford it for me, so I attended local government primary school. I attended a public secondary school.
Now, you said there was sanity. Okay, that draws the line between those schools then and now. So what happened? How did we throw those sanity away?
Yeah, because commerce overwhelmed the school values, the educational values. You see people establishing schools these days not because they have flair for education, not because they want to build an educational institution that will stand the test of time, that will produce quality pupils or graduates, but because of the profit they are bound to make out of it. And that is why you will see a lot of, there are categories. We cannot rubbish all of them. There are categories. There are some that are of standard quality. Talk about their in the infrastructure, talk about the teaching curricula, talk about the teachers that are available there. They are okay. But there are so many others that they are just, I can't just imagine that some children are being put under those roofs called schools, because it's like endangering their lives. You see uncompleted buildings everywhere. You see people there learning all in the name of private schools. And I've always been saying this: the minimum teaching qualification in Nigeria today is NCE. But when you go to most of these private schools, you will see schools start filled as teachers there. Those are the things I'm talking about.
Now, you are in government. Specifically, you are involved in monitoring of implementation of these policies, pointing out at those things you mentioned and correcting. What then happened? Can people rightly say it is lack or absence of supervision, adequate supervision, that has led us to this place?
Yeah, when I talk about all those things, I'm not talking about a particular point in time. I'm talking about where we found ourselves. I'm talking about a period that that decadence set in. Now, talking about monitoring, the Ministry of Education does monitoring. Talking about carrying oversight function, we do, and as much as possible, we try to point out where we see deficiencies to the policy makers, and they make they rise up to the occasion each time we tell them. Don't forget that so many schools were shut down in Ogun State. Just I think few months ago, there was this massive supervision of schools and by the Ministry of Education, and schools that were found not to be adequate in one area or the other were shut down. So I see the ministry doing its own bit. It may not have been perfect. It may not have been perfected, but I know that.
We're looking at government generally now, and I still want to talk about government policies. There have been public statements so that declare state of emergency in the education sector, and there have been people have said change policies. Readdress our education policies. Interpreting this means it's an identification that there are problems that needs urgent attention in that policy. Let me give you one quick example. For instance, the JAM and the UTMB examination just 2 years ago, it was a government policy that there should be UTMB post JAM or whatever they call it. Don't mind me, but I'm sure people understand what I'm saying. Just 2 years ago, today it is again there should not be. Sorry, it was no stop UTMB. Today is bring back UTME. In the last 3 years, the policies have changed 3 times. Last year, it was what they call tabulation. I'm talking of how to get admission to school. They calculate this, your O-level exam with your JAMB exam with your this will be added to give you this. And we have series of that. About a decade ago, it was what they called 9 years of comparative 933. Before that, it was 6334. And all this incessant change in government policies. How can it be readdressed? And why do you think we are having all these frequent changes?
Well, thank you. I think the problem we have is that we always address issues as they appear at a particular point in time. It's like we lack visionary impulses. I mean, sit down and look at what is going to happen in the nearest future. Look at other systems and see why things are working for them. A system that will stand test of time, no matter how long, it will still stay. So the problem is when you tailor a system against a particular challenge or set of challenges, by the time you are trying to address those challenges, new challenges will crop up, and that will now give way for another chase. We then start looking for another system that will also meet the challenges that have arisen. So I think that has been the major problem. Unless we sit down and we project for ourselves what manner of educational system can work and that can stand the test of time, that we can refer to as purely indigenous, I think we are bound to continue having policy somersaults.
Okay, we need to compare and contrast now. In all honesty, education then and now, which is of quality?
Well, I don't think there's even any basis to compare, because it seems the older Nigeria, girls, the poorer the quality of education, and that is very, very sad anyway. But we still need to address issues. We still need to sit down and project a particular system that will take us out of this mess. I remember not quite long, I think about a few months ago, Ogun State had what we call educational summit, and a lot of communiques were issued out for implementation by the state, and I think very soon now the implementation will start coming out.
Now, you said there's need to have what you call indigenous education policy. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, the one that will suit our culture, the one that will suit our socio-economic life.
Free education, is it part of it? Can the
free education is possible, but personally, I don't believe in free education. I believe in affordable and quality education.
Why then do you think politicians use free education as a campaign tool?
Well, it's possible. It's possible. You think you want to say something. You want to do something. You are capable of doing it. But no, you may not know that it takes a lot of things to do it when you get there. I just gave my own personal opinion. Affordable and quality education, other than free education.
Okay, don't you think the problem started when education was taken over from the missionary? Must the government be the founder of education?
Education is supposed to be, not talking about Western education anyway, it's supposed to be a sector where both public and private can, invest in. But the issues that arose probably arose over private institutions, and the government's need to project education beyond a particular level might have prompted the government of that time to take over schools from missionaries. I think we have gone past that, because many of these missionary schools have been returned. Many of them have been returned. So I think we have gone past this, and today we have so many private schools. We have so many private schools, and most parents to put, they enroll their words in private schools. So we have private schools that are thriving now. So government is not monopolizing education today.
In actual fact, there is a comedian who says the number of private schools in Nigeria the number of students. Anyway, now, Honourable Fasanya, let's look at the primary school education, which of course is the foundation. And of course, you cannot. That's where you start education. There's no way you can have education without going through primary. Okay, quickly. There's this interruption. It's not different from what we are saying. We have a reporter, correspondent Taiwo Fabajo on the streets. Let's have him. Taiwo.
And presently, the student of Moshood Abiola, the Polytechnic, which has been changed to Ogun State Poly, are inside the state secretariat protesting over the relocation of the institution to Ipokia. And basically, they are because of the fact that the school management, the lecturers, have refused to conduct the examination. They were supposed to start this examination like 2 weeks ago, but just because of the rancor between the lecturers and the state government in the position of this relocation of this school, they have refused to conduct this examination for these students. And because of this, the students decided to stage a protest to the state secretariat to meet the state governor, Governor Bukula Moson, to let him know what they feel about this. And the governor is currently addressing them, and he actually reiterated his point that he will not be moving the students from ND2 to HND2 to Ipokia. Rather, they will be admitting new students to ND1 at Ipokia. So some of these things is currently still addressing them as I speak to you.
Is it possible for us to hear the governor's voice? Taiwo, can you do that for us?
Yes, sure, you can. Let me.
Alright, I think Taiwo cannot get near to where he can pick the voice of the governor. Taiwo, are you there? Hello, Taiwo. Hello? Okay, you're still trying to get us the governor's voice?
in where in African church, this one allows you to buy what you like. You get one person to buy all students to buy students to pay for my uniform, for my food standard. So if they pay, when you are in the body now, they do pay it to you, but you give us food freely, those of you that have finished. No, nobody gives food freely. So nobody, I've never campaigned to tell anybody that they are going to give you free food, they are going to give you free clothes, or free uniform. And for uniform, for vision, it must be free. For all of that, it is free. If you want, I did mention that education will be free, totally free in primary and secondary school. For tertiary institutions, we are going to because if you can see the lecturers want to the lecturers. Look, we are more education and students and your education. We have more public schools and Lagos is a very good thing. You know why? Because we are not to be free. No. What you try to be doing, we are doing it. The amount that we agree, we are doing it. You know what they said? They said because we reduce your fee, they want us to increase what we are giving them. And I said no. So they should go and manage and take out the work we have to take. So don't worry. No. We are not going to. You want me to lie to you? We are not. So go back to your school. We are telling your lecturers immediately to come and talk to us why it is not. What about the other issues? So they will write them down. Okay. What about the other issues, sir? Hello.
All right, Taiwo. No, yeah, all right. We can Taiwo. Hello. We can clearly hear the governor speak. We can clearly hear his interaction with the students.
Hello, Dele. Can you repeat your question?
All right. Actually, if you take your time, we are approaching 10 o'clock, where we also need to take the 10 o'clock news. Of course, that's a breaking news. The students, union of the okay, it's Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, I'm correct. Not Ogun Poly or Matter. Yeah, Moshood Abiola Polytechnic staging, yes, protest to the governor's office and gladly met the governor, who you hear his voice there addressing them. They were actually scheduled to start their exam on Monday, 18th September, but as we speak, that did not happen. I don't know why, but I think the lecturers are doing a sit-down walk protesting. But gladly, the students have been able to draw a commitment. The governor said he's going to invite the lecturers for a discussion. Maybe when the two discuss, there'll be a meeting point and there can be peaceful settlement of these issues. Yes, we don't have much time again, but trust us. Honourable Dotun Fasanya, Committee Chairman of the State House of Assembly, member representing Abeokuta South, South 1, in the Ogun State House of Assembly, will still be with us. We are looking at the education sector growth or otherwise in Nigeria. Stay tuned to Rock City 101.9 FM. Don't go. All right, thank you for still being there listening to Rock City 101.9 FM. In the city of Abeokuta is the Daybreak Show and Citizens Forum this morning with Honourable Dotun Fasanya, member of the Ogun State House of Assembly, a lawyer and the chairman, House Committee on Education. We are looking at our education, 57 plus, how far, what are the grey areas, and how can we repaint, permit me to use that word, repaint it. We also had a breaking news coming from our correspondent Taiwo Fabajo, who gave us a live report on the students of the Moshood Abiola Polytechnic protest or visit to the governor. He actually welcomed them and addressed them, where he told them that he will meet the academic or staff of the university. That's one thing the staff community in the school have also actually been looking forward to. So the students have one need for them, and I hope that meeting will resolve every other thing, which includes the fear of what the fate of these workers will be, and students who actually applied for their ND in the school. Okay, Taiwo, just give us a summary. Are they still there with the governor?
Yeah, Dele, I'm still around the state secretariat of governor's office. Right now, I'm in front of the state secretariat. The governor, some minutes ago, just addressing the students, and the students look like they are not satisfied with the response of the state government. What do they want? According to them, they want an imminent response, action taken instead of saying they want to meet the lecturers. They want to meet the lecturers. They want an action to be taken. They want an action to be taken where all these issues will be addressed, and they will possibly by tomorrow, before the end of the week, go back to their classes to write their exams. And right now, I have one of the students here. They are currently trekking back to Puto from Okimoto, where their buses are parked. But I have currently one of the students here with me who came with his other colleagues to protest about this examination that they've not been able to write.
Okay, can we have him on there? Hello, good morning, students.
Hello, good morning, Dele.
Okay, can you introduce yourself quickly?
My name is Egwuonwu, an HND student of the Department of Mass Communication.
Okay, HID student, we just heard the governor said nothing will affect ND2 and HND2, so why are you disturbed?
No, from what the governor said, he said nothing will happen to the current students of the school, both from ND1 to HND2. And that is what the governor said. And initially that was not communicated to us, and that was why last Monday the leadership of the NAS sent a communique to the government, of which the government failed to address, and that is why we have moved from our schools, from our homes, to the governor's office today, and he has now clarified that part of the issue, just one section of the whole issue.
So what are the other issues?
Yeah, the other issues boils down to our lecturers. On Monday, you will agree with me, on Tuesday rather, the national axis of ASU, the press conference, where they said what will happen in the career production, the gratuities and other benefits of their members, where the governor said all the lecturers here will not move into the university, and they will move to Ikokia. And if they are moving to Ikokia, if they are not moving to university, he said they are not moving automatically. Sorry, pardon me for that. If they are not moving automatically, it means they have to reapply. If they reapply, what will happen to a chief lecturer? What will happen to a senior lecturer? What will happen to a principal lecturer? Will they still be, if they are reapplying, they won't be able to maintain that particular level they are in the present polytechnic, of the polytechnic. So that's another issue. From what the NANS chairman said today at the protest ground, he mentioned other issues as regards the model schools and blah blah. The governor failed to address other issues, except for Mapoli, on which he did not address all issues concerning Mapoli. He only picked the ones that he wants to tell us.
All right, okay, thank you, Ife, for your position. Okay. All right, Taiwo, do you want to add anything to it before we come back to the studio?
Quickly before I leave you, I want to ask if the students, obviously, if the students are really satisfied with that part, the little part that the governor has been able to answer according to him, are you satisfied? No, we are not satisfied, because one of those things that is stopping us is also our exams, which has been held for ransom on the 18th of last month. Today is the 3rd of October, which means this is the 3rd week that we have not started any exams. NYS is calling our colleagues in HND1 open to come into HND2. All of these things we are not satisfied with what the governor has said. It's what the questions the governor has addressed. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I must also add that for Okimoto, for Kuto, and let me add this is actually a great block because of the movement of the students, and the men of the Nigerian police and the NFCC, the civil defense, they were on ground throughout, and they are still on ground monitoring that it doesn't become a play of free for all among the students right there.
Okay, I just hope they will stay with their heads down on this issue. I'm talking about the protest. All right, we're back to the studio. We have our guest is still with us. Incidentally, interestingly, he is one of those who we have assigned to monitor these things for us as chairman of the House Committee on Education. It's what they call oversight. For sure I'm correct, oversight means monitoring. Okay. Now let me just have your summary of what happened there from those live reports, the student protest and the governor's response to them.
Well, I think what's happening is what we call what I can call the totem problem. You know, every time there's going to be a change, there's bound to be some, you know, initial problems like this. And I think the governor has given his word. The major agitation by the students is for the exam to start. And the governor said he was going to meet the lecturers who have who have not conducted the exams. He will meet them and resolve the issue. So I believe everything cannot be done through protest, but through negotiation. And with what the governor has said, the students should just hold him on his honor and believe that all that he has said is going to do it. He's a man of honor.
Okay, quickly, before we open the studio lines, where do you see education in Nigeria in the future? Do we have a bright future concerning education in Nigeria?
Oh, well, unless we have um, what I can refer to state of emergency on education, unless we can foster a pragmatic way of evolving a working educational system, things may continue to go like this. And that was why I said that education in Nigeria has had checkered history, going up, down, addressing a particular need, leaving another one. At the end of the others one rear their heads, and we start chasing again. That has always been our lot, and it has not stopped. I see it continue. If we do not sit down and say, okay, we want a system of education that will stand the test of time, and we can do it. We have nations who are forefront in education all over the world. We can tailor our own towards their own and just identify, adapt it to our own culture and values here. I believe that if we can do that, we can sit down, just like Ogun State did about a few months ago through Education Summit. I believe will foster an enduring educational system for
All
Nigeria.
right, so you still have a question? Okay, I will just keep the phones on now. Let's have the thoughts, the questions from you, the listener.
0809-868-7344 or 0909-146-9670. Remain.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Hakim Egwuonwu.
Thank you, sir.
I want to greet our resource person. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, how are you, sir?
I'm okay.
I want to start with the governor. I want to appreciate the governor for speaking to the students. And just like the resource person has said, I think the students should give him time to do what he wants to do as a father and as a leader in the state. I'm sure all their grievances will be addressed in no time. If they should just have patience, you should have a little bit of patience. Now, my question is this. As you have said, yes, you know, education starts from the home, from the father and the mother. I don't know how you feel you can galvanize the roots, which is from the father and the mother, from your own perspective as a member of the house. That's my question.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Let's add other questions. Let's add your voice to this. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, Olanima Shao is my name, calling from Abeokuta.
Okay.
I want to see the resource person in the house for good submission. But I will go to your breaking news aspect. That is the area that makes my own comment. I want to appreciate the approach the governor has taken. He has tactically responded to the students on the one that directly affected the students. And I think indirectly the one that affects the students through their lecturers, they have given the assurance that he will speak with the academics. And I want to appeal to us, and particularly the students, to please, for God's sake, maintain decorum and non-violence in this instance. They have done the necessary thing. They have expressed themselves. The state power has listened to them. I wish all of us the best in the course of all actions necessary. Thank you for this.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you very much, sir.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, Dele.
Good morning, sir.
Honourable Fasanya. Good morning. I'm
Good morning, sir.
Carl Dele from Abeokuta. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You have spoken very well. I heard you when you took off from the missionary, then how we used it. I think we have used it totally. You see, education is the bedrock of progress in any community or nation. It helps you to capture the power of purpose, which generates a kind of passion and then task for living. But how do we now probably the leaders that we have of today, are they qualified at all to be leaders? Are they responsible leaders? Are they faithful in what they are, the stewardship they have been given opportunities for? These are the things we need to ask them. You see, faithfulness in the little things is the qualification for promotion to bigger things. And I have not seen it in any of the leaders that we have as of today. The only person that I think I can give it to is Buhari. Let me tell you frankly, we should not shield ourselves from the truth that some people had failed us, most especially in Ogun State. Let me tell you, you as an individual there, you have spoken very well. When you get back to office, we don't know exactly what is your intent, but at the same time, you are speaking very well in the public today. Let me say this. The students are protested. I give it to the protesters, the students, and I give it to the governor for telling us this. But how much of what he has told them will he be able to do? You see, the stigma of corruption has been the problem that is on doing education now. Go and write it down. You see, education sector or system in Ogun State is in comatose, failure. This is a government that came in the instant of collapsing Southwest, and you are bringing another university. How will you be? You see, I got him when he said, go and manage. He has asked them to go and manage. How do you expect people to manage? The students are complaining that you didn't do this.
He explained, he said he asked them to think out of the box and find a way of...
if you think out of the box, are you saying that you still want to create one to not be able to manage, and you ask them to continue to think out of the box? Mr. Dele, let us be very frank at ourselves, among ourselves now this morning. We need to understand what wisdom is all about, understand what knowledge is all about, and which is supreme. Which one is supreme? Is it wisdom or knowledge?
All right, thank you.
Let me ask you that question, Mr. Dele.
Thank
probably
you.
the resource person.
Thank you, Kayode. One call more and we'll move away, check messages and come to our guest. Hello.
Good morning, Dele.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning, Chienye.
Good morning.
Honourable Fasanya, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, my name is Wahid. I'm calling from Abeokuta. Yes, let me throw the line of Elijah Marshall to comment on the breaking news of the protest of the Mapoli students to governor's office. Let me quickly appreciate Mr. Governor for attending to those students because he has to do that right now. Those students are not happy and their lecturers too are not happy. And being a very wonderful leader, he attended to them, he listened to them, and he responded. And we heard from the reporter that he addressed some of the issues those students raised. We know our governor is a leader and is an elderly person. He cannot address those issues raised by those students because there are a lot of things that he will not be able to say to those students. So he has issues with their lecturers and he has to address their lecturers. And he has promised that in a matter of 1 or 2 days, we will have to see their lecturers, talk to them, and ask them why
He said immediately. He said immediately he's going to call them. That's what he said.
He said immediately. So what I'm saying is that I don't know why the students will say they are not pleased with the response of the Mr. Governor again. And anyway, that is understandable. The students are sometimes not. I don't want to say reasonable, but not. I don't know. I don't want to cast an
They
aspersion or
want
say
prompt action.
he said what?
They want prompt action.
Yeah, the
Spontaneous.
Minister Governor said immediately. That is the quick action, of course. So let us exercise patience. We cannot continue.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I don't know where I get that. I want to appreciate the student too for talking to Mr. Governor.
Thank you. Your 2 minutes. Thank you. Okay. Do we have somebody standing by? Don't let us show the person know. Okay, let's have you. Hello.
Hello.
Chienye, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dele. How are you doing, sir?
We thank God, sir, for his message.
Honourable in the house.
Good morning, sir.
God bless you, sir.
Yes, sir. You too, sir.
Yes, I am Pastor Shola Makinde. I'm calling from Ogun Kingdom. Okay, I go over.
Thank you.
Honourable, I want to ask you, sir, with all honesty, for Governor Muslim to go to Ethiopia and start a brand new university and name it after the late MPO Abiola.
Polytechnic at Ipokia, not university.
Polytechnic at Ethiopia, and allow the status quo in Oje to remain. Which one will you prefer, sir? Thank you so very much. God bless Nigeria and God bless Rock City.
Okay, if I get the question, are you saying the university should be in Ipokia and then the Polytechnic stays? Yes, okay, that's a question for him. Quickly, let me also make a clarification following the submission of the callers about the issue of subvention. I think it was at the point in which the students asked the governor that he did not keep to his declaration of free education or tuition in the school, and he said he's done that, and they said you have not increased the subvention of the school, and he said the school came to him because he has increased. They said because since he has reduced the tuition, he should increase the subvention for the school because they make money from that, and he said no, he's not going to do that. You should find a way of bridging the gap, augment it. That's at that point. It was not a direct response from the sort of. All right, that's just a clarification. Fasanya.
Yeah, thank you very much. I thank all our people that have made comments and asked questions. Starting from the first caller, Mr. Aki Ogudimi from Elega. Aki Biduni from Elega. He said, how can we galvanize the role of parents, the role of home into our educational system? I think without saying much here, that has been in our educational system because the pupils, before they get to school at all, the parents must have had some informal, form of education with them. You have to greet, you have to behave well, how to do this, how to do that. But probably what Mr. King Biduni was talking about is playing a role in curriculum of their words. Like when they are given homework, they are given assignment, that the parents too should have one or two things to do about it. I think our parents are very, very good in this respect. I've seen parents sitting down doing homework for their pupils, teaching them how to do it, bringing in lesson teachers for them to explain some shady areas to them, even things that they have done in school. I think our parents have been well involved in training of in the education of our children. Then to that of Mr. Oladimasham, he appreciated the governor for having addressed the students directly. Yeah, the governor is a father. He's a father, and he likes young ones. So he had to face them and tell them, explain to them in fatherly manner, like he has done, what is in the offing and what he can do to the issues at hand, which is exactly what he has done. Then Mr. Kayode Olumide, well, I agree that education is the bedrock of development and progress in any community. That goes without saying that education is so important. Now he said, how do we say the leaders of today, are they faithful? Are they loyal? Well, talking about being faithful or talking about being loyal, depends on how each individual sees it. I believe also, I share his sentiment or two, or his opinion, that one of the major banes of Nigerian education system is corruption. Corruption is not even peculiar to education. Corruption is like a culture. Now, it's like a cankerworm. It has eaten deep into our social fabrics, and that is in any facet of our life we have corruption. And so that is why the present administration of Buhari is trying to fight corruption, albeit you know uh, with some challenges too. So corruption is in depth in our society, and I believe that corruption will soon cease to be a matter to battle with in our society. So then establishment of a new university. Well, I have said this in different fora, and being a member of the House of Assembly, the chairman as Committee on Education, among other honorable members of the House that worked on this bill. We debated this at length by the time the bill came to us, and we eventually realized, all of us gave our uh, all these issues, all of us, we spoke our fears out, and at the end of the day, the superior argument is that we need this school, that we needed this school. It's a university of science and technology. We need skills, we need expertise to man the new the new economy of the state with the influx of uh, industries into our states. We will not go to other states to bring in experts. So we needed a school, a college of science, a university of science and technology, among other reasons. So I believe that establishing a university of science and technology is a step in the right direction. That's my own opinion. Now, Mr. Suraju from Abeokuta also appreciates the governor for attending to the students there. He has also spoken well too. So I have said something concerning that. Then Pastor Shola Makinde from Owu Kingdom, he asked us a question that instead of establishing a new polytechnic at Ipokia, why not allow Mapoli to stay and instead establish the University of Science and Technology in Ipokia? Well, I think the basis for that is that the facilities on ground at Ojere, which is the location of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, is enough for a university to take off. So probably the government wanted to take advantage of that for a speedy taking off of the university, as against establishing a new university somewhere that is, a virgin ground. It's going to be difficult. Even the NUC will not give license, because one of the things the NUC will see is the location, the facilities on ground before issuing license. So it's always better to upgrade an existing school for the infrastructure to be used as for a university than establishing a university in the virgin land. So I think with that one I've answered. But I also want to comment on some issues the students raised. They raised issues on the lecturers being subjected to another application. Well, I think they have been misinformed, because the qualification for lecturing in a university is quite different from qualification for lecturing in a polytechnic. In a university is an academic environment. it is purely academic. So the minimum requirement is for is PhD. Even if the lecturer does not have a PhD, if somebody does not have a PhD, by the time you have evidence that you have started your PhD, they might consider, because we have categories of lecturers, so they might consider such person. So it is possible that some of the lecturers that are there now at the Polytechnic don't have this qualification. So it is not possible that they take them automatically from Moshood Abiola Polytechnic to Moshood Abiola University of Science and Technology. Those who feel they are qualified must apply, and they will be screened and appointed accordingly. Others we can still move with Ogun State Polytechnic. That's just that's my take.
Okay,
Okay, let's
thank you
start
very
messages.
much. Okay, for the messages, the Honourable made mention of quality and affordable education. The Ibikunle Amosu administration established model schools, and in the process of admitting students, forms were sold for 35,000 naira and then 250,000 naira for school fees. Is that what he coined affordable education? The policy of the present government of Ogun State does not guarantee the desire for quality. The state of infrastructures, the staff welfare have made public schools unconducive for learning. Okay, that was sent in by Kenny Additional from Ashiro. Then we have this one from Evangelist Oriola Kinyemi from Adigbe. It's a pity that we don't observe the reason why illiterates increase in Nigeria. Okay, that is illiteracy. Then selfishness is number one. The private schools increase every day, while affordable government school is not cared for anymore, unlike how Papa Awo and others laid it in the early 60s. Okay, that's from Evangelist Oriola. Then Honorable, please, I want you to visit Ibara Orile, the only primary school there. No chair for the students to sit, and the roof is not good. It's nothing to talk about. I want you to visit there at Ibara Orile. That was sent in by Shola from Abeokuta. Then Evangelist Oriola Akinyemi again from Adigbe. Secondly, the religious misconduct is another reason, as some religions believe that education is a taboo, in which it was initiated. Okay, then we have this one from IK from E4. Sir, you have spoken very well, but you did not address most of the expectations. If the children of our so-called leaders are schooling in their hometown, do you think that all this crisis in the education sector will crop up? Then education in Nigeria may not move forward, but backwards, until our rulers and the top government functionaries have personal commitments to its growth and not continue to politicize it. As at now, the top government functionaries don't educate their children in Nigeria. So no commitment. Let's force them to be committed. Alhaji Badru is suggesting that one. And this one is from Okwaifa. The issue of Mapoli is more than a month now. What has Mr. Governor done to this since all these days? Why is he allowing this? Why did he shelve this till today? He knew what lecturers were asking from him and he failed to address it until now. Honorable, tell Mr. Governor to be sincere. Okay, that's from Okwaifa. Then for the tweets, we have this one from Yemi Da Vinci. If Nigeria can buy new cars for legislators every 4 years and sponsor pilgrimages, then we can afford free and quality education. Dr. Kushimo, the fact that a nation's standard of education dictates the height of national achievement, it's a pointer to do the needful. Let's wake up. Then from Yemi Da Vinci again, our education system today prepares our children for yesterday and not tomorrow. We're creating a future monster slowly. Okay, that's from Yemi Da Vinci. Then we have this one from Professor Agbola AAA. Governor Amoso must be. Okay, how I wish Papa Awo is still alive. Well, then Yemi Da Vinci, I agree with Honorable Fasanya that we need a homegrown localized system of education, especially that which will incorporate informality. Then Dr. Kushimo again, for education and other aspects of our national issues, our progress lies in government being driven by vision and policies. and not by persons. Then from Yemi Da Vinci again, when we talk about education, we must recognize both the formal and informal approach. Why have we neglected our informal education? That's a question from Yemi Da Vinci. Then Professor Agbola AAA, we cannot blame our parents for taking their children to any private school, standard or no standard, when government has killed public schools. Okay, moving to this one, Yemi Da Vinci still. The truth of the matter is that imprudent, shrewd allocation is not part of being a successful Nigerian politician. Baba Awolowo found money to do free quality education despite opposition taunting him. We can do it now too if we are not lazy. And then the silver bullet to solve our education sector issues is that all government officials must educate their children in public schools. That's that for now.
Right, do you want to react to any of those issues? Somebody said, if by which Papa Olo of Lamina, I hope you remember that if Papa Olo was alive, it would have been 107 plus. So I don't know why we should want to continue to disturb 107 years of person.
Yeah, thank you very much. I also thank those who sent these messages. I must say that they spoke from the depth of their minds, and I want to start from Mr. Kelly Adishino, that talking about model schools. Well, I know what we call it model schools, and if you look at the schools, they are very different from other schools. So I wouldn't know how affordable that could be, and I wouldn't know what informed the fixing of the fees. But I also know that probably because those the pupils there are in the boarding school, and according to the uh, um, commissioner for education, they are not taking fees from them. The money they ask them to pay is for the boarding, and all of us know that boarding is expensive. So it is not what they are taking is not for it's not school fees. It is boarding fees. So, and I know that parents that voluntarily enroll their wards in these schools knew that they had to pay for boarding. So I think that answers that question. Then Evangelist Toriola said selfishness makes the private school to grow at the expense of the public school. Well, selfishness probably that was what I termed commercial
Education.
education, because of the quest of people to make money at all costs to earn a living at these established schools, whether the school are up to standard or not. So it could be, but I also know that the public schools too, are getting up. Then Shola from also from Abeokuta said I should visit Ibara Orile. That there's no chair, there's no roof, it's not good. I would just say that a system that is that is not good, not too good, ab initio, it will get to a stage that it will erupt. It's so unfortunate that it is erupting at this particular point in time. But that is not an excuse. I would visit that place as suggested by Shola Abeokuta, and I will make a necessary recommendation to the authorities, the education ministry. Then religious belief that education is not is forbidding or things like that. As also.
I don't know which religion still believes
well,
that.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know which religion.
Yes, I'm not sure he got his facts right. Yeah, it used to be in the olden days, and
yes,
I think we have passed that
not
age
today,
now.
not
Yes, we have passed that age now. So they say if the children of our leaders have their schools here with us, that they will be more committed. Well, I believe that too, but I also know that a handful of our leaders, a handful of our government functionaries have their children here where they live in Nigeria. And I will also make bold to say that all my children attend school in Abeokuta, not even in Lagos, in Abeokuta where I live, so that I can also make my input as a father towards their education. Then Mr. Okpefa, that they were talking about the issue of Mapoli, that it is more than a month now that it has been known that the governor ought to have done something about it. I am very sure that sometimes ago, I think about a month or two, when the lecturers protested, I think the governor met them and they arrived at a particular on a particular decision. This is a fresh one because the students ought to have started exam since September 18th, but about 3 weeks ago, and up till now they have not started the exam. So it's a fresh issue which the governor has promised to address, and I'm very sure that the issue will be resolved in very nearest time. Now, Mr. Kushimo, we should wake up. Yes, our progress lies with.
No, let's add other messages to it.
Okay,
We have
Honourable
just
Fasanya.
3 minutes. Thank you.
Honourable Fasanya, our leaders sit down in the puddle of failures and bathe themselves. Why, in your thinking, would our politicians dream and they don't wake up? Obviously, where did the governor get it wrong? And having debated among you that you need it most, did you at all take into consideration that the government has refused to adequately fund OOU, TASWED and Mapoli as well as others? So why a third university now? Kayode Olumide is asking that question. Then, Honorable Sir, do you foresee massive retrenchment among the present lecturers at Mapoli in this present development? Okay, Cosmos from Goshen Estate is asking that question. Or Debody from Obantogo, Sir. One, why is it that public primary and secondary schools are in the state of shambles? And what's the position of the governor as regards the use of hijab? Then this one from Kayode Olumide again. What are your views about Governor Mosun's impatience about not being ready? I see it as a way of life for leadership. Kayode Olumide sent in that one. Then lastly, from the messages, okay, this one has nothing to do with what we are discussing.
Again, Honorable Person.
Yeah, I'm still trying to.
Let's see the ones you can take. We just have
Okay,
2 minutes, so
okay.
you may not be able to
thank
take
you from Kayode that our leaders sit down, that the government has refused to fund tertiary institution. Then why is the government?
I think the question is, why do we need a third university?
Why do we need a third university? I've explained this before, and it is not right. It's a misinformation to say that the government has not been funding tertiary institution. No government can adequately fund tertiary institutions, especially with the kind of fees that we pay in our schools. The government is trying. It may not be adequate, but that is not to say that the government is not funding education at all. So we would not, because of that, say the necessity for a specialized university like the University of Science and Technology will not come up. Definitely, the government that established that university know how they are going to fund it, and it is going to happen. It's going to be adequately funded. Then Mr. Cosmos also asked if I foresee mass retrenchment in Mapoli. Well, if things go well, I don't see mass retrenchment because the lecturers and the other non-academic staff that are in Mapoli today also qualify to be taken as staff of the newly established Ogun State Polytechnic. So I don't see why anybody, must be retrenched to achieve this. So then, why is our public schools in shambles? Well, I've said it the other time that these things have not just started, and things that have suffered decades, neglect for so long, for years. cannot just, be fixed all at once. It's a gradual thing. As we attend, as we are saying now, there are some schools are undergoing renovations. More buildings are being built, but the Yoruba, like the Yorubas will say, at the end lagun,
Thank you very much. Alright, we thank everybody who's been a part of it. It's been another really wonderful, educating edition. I will thank our guest, the chairman of the State House of Assembly Committee on Education, Dotun Fasanya, is also the member representing Abeokuta South 1 State Constituency. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Coming. And of course, a big thank you to all of you who've been out there contributing. I also say thank you. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, we'll be here with a fresh edition. Dele, Ayodo is my name. I say God bless you all. God bless Nigeria and God bless Rock City.
And I am Chienye Egwuonwu. Thank you so much for staying tuned.